All 2-0s for Rise Nation. Granted, Pittsburgh Knights, second map, they didn't play, but still, 2-0s. Beating UIU 2-0, and especially on Exhibit, was impressive overall, man. I got to say, Rise Nation has done great. Let's go to our pick and bans, though, so you guys can follow along with what we're seeing. Icebound, right off the rip, was in fact banned out, and that followed by Vasgar. That led us into our first map, which is going to be District, then Training Grounds, and then Bunker.
Yeah, I mean, look at this map pool right now, and it's very interesting. Of course, the old Quarantine team was a pretty good team. They had the deepest map pool, right? The old Reciprocity team. They were a team that was pretty good at District, but we know Rise Nation, a very strong District team. And then we take a look over at Training Grounds, right? Rise Nation did beat UIU on Training Grounds, but it wasn't the back of a 5-0 comeback. So maybe Quarantine looking at that saying, all right, we're not going to let that happen, right? We can close that map out, and then if we do get there, that tiebreaker will be on Bunker. Like I said, a crazy series is probably going to be ahead of us. Every time these two teams face off, it's going to be insane. Also, one thing to think about was the fact that these two teams played in Pro League over the weekend as well, so maybe some adjustments coming through on either end. That District map last time was just absolutely absurd. Icy made what was just one of the craziest plays I've ever seen in order for them to take that round number 9 on tiebreaker. I'm excited for this one, man.
You know, at the beginning, whenever it came to District, Reciprocity, now Quarantine, was kind of that team that really dominated on this map. And then over time, they just seemed to kind of fall off and falter a little bit. And really, it's all onto the back of Rushies getting in, getting out for that drop shot, specifically if it's over in theater or over on the other side of bandstands. We'll see if we get the opportunity to kind of watch that fight. But off the rip, 4 go down for the side of Quarantine. Rise Nation, they're not playing around. They come out guns blazing. Icy tries to even up the score a little bit before getting dropped off himself by Enzim, but it's safe to say Rise Nation dominated that initial, despite Quarantine getting control of the double home hills.
Yeah, after a hot start, you're going to see Franchise making his way over towards Cinema. There's a member of Rise Nation there waiting. It's going to be Drix. Drix moves right around the cover and it's going to make him pay. Of course, we're on long spawns, Taylor, so they can extend these numbers out that much further. It's going to mean everything on these early rounds.
Drix tries to just push into Rushies. Not as successful as he wanted to be. That's got Enzim on the back foot and also facing some Lancer fire. Stuns are going to be coming through. Rushies pushes in, misses the first shot, misses the melee, dives out, will get taken out in return, but eventually gets picked up. A bit of an awkward fight, but luckily his teammates are there to help him recover from that. Franchise up close will get the chunk onto Avexes and extend his way over towards Charlie. Not a bad push given the fact that Quarantine currently going for that domination. Drix last one up. He's getting peppered in the back, and Quarantine, despite being low on points, they're going to come through the domination and take round number 1 in just a minute and 50 seconds.
It's not about how you start, it's about how you finish. Rise Nation came off to a hot start on that initial. They didn't manage to get the trip cap, though, so Quarantine, give them a second chance, and they can make you pay. Kicking off these grand finals with the first round on the board. Keep in mind, this is the Rise Nation map pick, so always a good thing to get off on a hot start in your opponent's map pick. And like I said, this map in particular was just absolute insanity last week. I'm excited to see kind of what these two teams give us. Last time we had a drop shot placed over in bandstands. There's a lot of crazy action over on that side of the map, and you got to imagine at some point or another there could be another one placed.
Yeah, I love watching that fight, and if Quarantine continues to win a couple more rounds, you can imagine Rise Nation, they're going to want to change up the fight and will put that drop shot over at bandstand. That only makes things a little bit more interesting. You got men like Enzim, Detox, who love to get into the mix, met by, of course, Rushies and Franchise, who will be putting the hurt on Rise Nation if that fight does, in fact, take place. But you mentioned it's not about how you start, it's about how you finish, and that is entirely true. However, you have to capitalize on your initials. This initial, a lot slower than the last. Rise Nation not being as aggressive, and it favors that of Quarantine. Quarantine, especially when they were back in Reciprocity, the full 5-man roster, they were a team that loved to take matches or rounds to basically the last minute, the last seconds, and the longer the round dragged out, the better off Quarantine or Reciprocity would have been. And it's much the same here, but off the rip, Quarantine's already threatening a triple cap.
And Drix, man, a big double play. The kind of counter wipe starting to come through for Rise Nation. Quarantine not able to get the full trip cap, and now Morty, Fran, and Icy sent back to the respawn screen. Opportunity for Rise Nation to grab that B hill and start to kind of build themselves a bit of a setup and a bit of a lead. Rushy's doing everything he can to keep them off that neutral hill and doing a good job at that so far. Detox is on the back end, but he's going to be met by a couple Quarantine players off spawn. And let's see what Morty can do. Morty's going to take out one. He's going to quickly try to get over to Rushies as fast as he can. And just like that, Quarantine have quickly taken their numbers right over to B and are looking to impose their will.
And let's see if it will work out for them. They do have Shock A couple members from Rise backing up, and they're going to go ahead and hop on Bravo. Nobody is able to get that cross. The smoke is going to stop Insem from being able to see, and Bravo is going to be capitalized. That's not going to stop Mortify and Rushies, though. They're going to continue to push in. Great opportunity to take Insem out. They get the spot, pushes up, not able to get it. Mortify will get dropped off, but not finished. But I got to say, Insem is holding his own, and Insem continues to slay out. 3, 4 go down on the side of Quarantine. Solar's been spotted, and just like that, 5 get wiped. Rushies will be respawning back up, but is he going to be able to get a touch? He should be able to at least get in. Actually forced to back off. Charlie not even going to be able to be touched. Rise Nation turned that in their favor on the back of Insem. What looked like he was going to just absolutely get swarmed on. Insem holds his own and turns around in Rise's favor. Phenomenal job to bring the scoreline 1-1.
Yeah, we knew it was going to be a close one, and just like that, back and forth we go between these two teams. Curious to see what the placements are going to look like. A lot of utility in the back end, and makes a lot of sense on District, especially if we do see those kind of drop shots placed, whether it's in Bandstand, whether it's in Cinema. All those flashbangs are going to be so important.
Jeez. Insem keeps playing like that. Quarantine's going to be in a lot of trouble. Quarantine looked like they were in total control throughout that entire round. Up until a couple players just dropped off, and then Rise took advantage of that. I mean, if there's only one player up, what are you going to do? You're going to push the enemy spawn. You're going to try and put as much pressure as possible, and in that case, it absolutely worked out for the best. Another slow start, though. Another slow initial on both sides. Each one waiting for the other to make the mistake. You do notice a minor point lead, though, for Rise Nation that allows Quarantine to be the aggressor, and Rushies is in a very tough position to just fire some shots on in a tough position for Rise Nation. Shock tries to push up. Good utility use. They'll go back to the Lancer fire on the player in the corner. Icy tried to throw his hat in the ring and push up. He's not going to be as successful. Rushies will back up, but Quarantine does have a minor lead in points for the time being, but for how long, that's the question.
And Avexy's going to get the better of Rush for now. Icy drops as well. Boltok in the hands of Solars. We've seen what the Boltok can do throughout the first couple rounds of this tournament. And Rise Nation then have on all 3 hills right now, looking to hit the neutral, looking to hit both home hills. Quarantine built a small lead to begin with. That's going to quickly be erased as the smoke grenade does come out. It's going to block some vision off Rise Nation. Now they're going for a trip cap. Is anyone in position to get to a hill? I don't think anyone is. No, it is the A hill. They touch it right in time at the last second. A couple members are going to be down for Quarantine. 1 member down on the side of Rise Nation, but Quarantine manages to continue fighting on. Now the question becomes, where's their move going to be made? A lot of players surrounding. It looks like Rushy's over towards B. Can he manage to stay alive? A kill on the way out would be key. He gets 1. Can he make it a second? Unfortunately, does not. So now Rise Nation, they'll continue to hold down B, but it looks like Quarantine's giving them a taste of their own medicine now. Yeah. They're the ones hopping over for the OE.
Yeah, you know, with the relocation of resources, Rise forced to go over for that fight over on Cinema for that Bravo fight. Quarantine took advantage of that and rotated over towards Charlie, but seems to Rise slaying out, able to come through and get a couple of critical kills and push Quarantine back, potentially take this over. There's a lot of chaos going down. Detox will get silenced, and Quarantine continue to push Rise back, despite Rise doing a good job pushing up initially. But still a long-fought battle here, as Bravo's going to be neutralized. Quarantine sends a player over, and it's going to be Rush. He's taking it over for himself. Doesn't get the full cap. Home hill for Rise, though, is finally regained, and player number 8 for Rise Nation, it's going to be Drix, hopped over on A himself, and he's able to at least kill a couple players. It's going to be Franchise, and now you have Solars and Mortify, who's going to be pushing in slowly too. Rise Nation doing a great job playing objectively. They're also trying to retake B. The only player over there is going to be Rushy. He's trying to fight him off. If Rushy's can't get a touch here, it's over, and he's not going to be able to. Rise Nation with another domination is going to take it, and they have slayed out Quarantine. And I know a couple players were at least on 1 out of 4 lives.
Yeah, Franchise chose not to spawn back in, saving that respawn he had for the final fight. Of course, we are in the last round of the first half. Rise Nation, like you mentioned, did a great job of slaying out throughout the entirety of that round. They were basically doing a good job of kind of identifying where the pushes were going to come through, making sure their resources were there, and then executing in those fights. So now if you're Quarantine, you're looking to tie this up, right? You don't want to get that 1-3 lead over in the first half. And if they do, you got to imagine, right, the drop shot's got to be coming soon.
Oh,
or maybe right now.
Maybe right now.
Maybe even sooner.
I like it. It's going to be a new dynamic, right? Some resources have to be allocated down low. And that second half is going to be even more exciting for that battle for drop because it also is the battle for the neutral hill. And I noticed the Botox were placed down a little bit earlier, so Quarantine's going to have that to use in their inventory as well. You already know Rushy's going to be pushing in for Quarantine. The good push onto Insum unfortunately misses that first shot, and both players are going to stay alive and be forced to back up. Insum does get dropped. This could be a series of critical kills for the Quarantine side. Insum and Detox are gone. Shock will drop himself. That's now going to be 3 down. And the drop shot in the hands of Icy. A good win on Bandstand for Quarantine.
Yeah, once again, they find themselves sitting that home hill, and the drop shot, like you said, in the hands of Icy is going to quickly be rotated over, I imagine, towards Rushy's. Rushy's, of course, the main drop shot on this Quarantine team. Now the question is, where is he going to rotate it, right? It's like he's heading over towards the neutral hill, going to use it as an opportunity to kind of push these players back. Even if no kill comes through, right, even if he can take a player out of position, that's going to be very helpful. You have a Vexy sitting there kind of on the fountain, another player sitting right back in Cinema.
Rushy's trying to gain some intel, maybe take over that neutral position. Lancer fire onto that neutral hill. Rise happy with how the game's been played so far. At least they're getting as much points as possible. They do have that point lead momentarily. It's all about a matter of what Quarantine does. That's going to be a good connection onto Detox to take him out. And that opens up the door for Bravo potentially. You see them playing around with it. Rise, though, doing a great job holding him at bay. One player is, in fact, going to be dropped. And that's going to be the second. So that's a good hold on the Bravo. Rise now should be able to hop back in, capture B for themselves. As Mortify, as well as IC, does get taken out. So despite the drop shot kill, and despite the positioning off the initial for Quarantine, Rise Nation still in control.
Yeah, and the kill feed continuing to lunch red. Using a 2-cap now, Rush doing his best to try to get, at least a couple kills through with that power weapon, but the Rise Nation team fire looking too strong. You see Franchise sitting on 0 kills right now, Detox sitting on 0 as well. Inzum's also going to join him, so still some opportunity for Quarantine, I would say. Rush also going to be placed on 0, but I think one of these definitive fights that could come through could be it. Mortifies is going to be dropped at the hands of Avexis and Detox, and Rise Nation continue to move forward. Quarantine was quickly trying to hit that B hill, but they know that it's not going to be for long as their in-game leader now just got completely wiped off the map. Things are looking good right now if you are a fan of Rise Nation Rushies. He got one, almost got a second, but the player somehow ate that entire spread. Unfortunate situations coming through from the Rushman, and now a permanent 3 versus 5. You got to imagine, Taylor, this has got to be around.
You got to be thinking, right? Despite, though, Boltok being put to good use, Solars needs to pick up a couple of critical kills. He's unable to do so. He will drop. And now it's all up to Icy as the pressure from Rise is inevitably going to be pushing forward. The domination looks like, or at least the total team wipe does come into effect in the first half. Absolutely dominated by Rise, and that's a little bit scary to think of because we're now moving to the second half. Rise is a great initial team. They know how to slay out, and what makes this initial that much more deadly is the neutral hill of E is going to be right next to Bandstand where the drop shot resides.
Yeah, kind of like we saw in training grounds, right? That Bandstand fight's going to be that much more influential because of the fact that not only do you walk away with the power weapon, you walk away with the neutral hill, you walk away likely with the 2-cap. And that fight was just absolute insanity over the weekend. See what Quarantine can do to kind of change the tides, right? Rise Nation's definitely gotten the better of them on the initials.
Big round for Rise. Swing round for Quarantine. To not put Rise at 4 out of 1, which would make it very, very tough. And we see that fight now taking place. All the utilities being thrown out. Insum, though, an opportunity. Misses the first shot, gets the second, goes for the third. Pushing back Mortify. Mortify will get dropped, and a great initial for Rise. Knocking 3 players out. Ice is going to get dropped. Franchise now on the back pedal. He's going into 1v1 against Avexis. He's going to get traded out on all 4s. Can the finish come in? Well, Rushy's going to be spawning back up, but the domination should come into effect. Rushy's now is just going to try and hurl his body at D. He got a touch, but how long can Quarantine continue to do this? How many lives, how many resources do they want to throw at keeping this round alive?
I mean, Rush bottom time, and right now if they get a counter wipe, that could be huge. We are on long spawn, so if Quarantine can kind of chain a few kills together and quickly make their way over towards the Rise home, that could be a big play, but it looks like someone's being a thorn in the side over on Quarantine. I believe that is Drix getting that Lancer fire in there from the left side, so Rise Nation continues to kind of apply pressure and move forward. At this point, Quarantine's just trying to make sure they stay alive.
Quarantine committed quite a bit. Mind you, this is only the first round of the second half. Got already Solars, who's on 2 out of 4 lives. Franchise doing everything he can to stay alive, but he gets taken out in the end. Good team fight. Good team fire, rather, from the men on Rise. Icy now in a very tough position himself. He's going to get dropped to all fours and taking out Rise. Rise doing a great job slaying out. Boltok up close. Solars can't connect enough. And once again, threatening another team wipe, and that's going to be it. Rise up 4-1.
Yeah, they are rolling right now, Taylor. Early round, mid round, whatever it may be. They just look more coordinated, right? They just look bigger, faster, stronger on every front across the map. You see very, very even slaying, right? 20, 22, 18, 21. They're doing it together, right? They're moving together, they're shooting together, and that's what you got to do, especially on a map like District, right? A lot of quick fights, a lot of quick rotations.
Potentially the last round in Grand Finals for game number 1. Rise Nation on the cusp of taking a 1-0 lead over Quarantine. And just a history lesson to bring it back up. Every time Rise has made it to Grand Finals in Season 2 of Emergence Days, they have won. They have 3 total championships, which actually rivals that of UIU. All the way in the beginning, of course, being NRG. It rivals that record, and it rivals the record of at least one other team, too. So this would be a huge win for them if they're able to take it, but it seems as if Quarantine not wanting to go down without a fight. They win that initial. They take 3 players out from Rise, and they secure the drop.
It's an early 3 dead, and they're continuing to slay forward. Inzum's the last remaining member, and now Rush hopping on the final hill. Can anyone from Rise get there in time? Rush is going to have the drop shot across the map. Is he going to have to use it? Inzum's going to be dropped. You do get the full break, though. Solars gets taken out while he's reloading. Franchise in front of a couple people, gets one down. Can he get the full kill? He has to unfortunately reload, but he is able to get one. I believe that's enough time, though, for Rise Nation to get back onto the map. Rush is going to still move forward. Hits one drop.
Oh!
And Shock misses the shot. Can anyone from Rise get there in time? Detox has to be the player to get the touch on E.
Gosh.
He does get there. And now more fights. Detox is going to end up dying, but he at least got the break necessary. The kill feed still lighting up blue. Quarantine looking to take this round. The full E-cap comes through. The touch doesn't get there in time. A good initial coming through from Quarantine. Stops the bleeding. We've seen a lot of crazy comebacks all night long, Taylor. Do you think we could maybe even see one more?
You know what? It wouldn't surprise me. How many round 9s have we seen so far? You know, I go back and count. We've seen 1, 2, 3. We've already seen 3 round 9s. We watched Rise against UIU on training grounds and literally win 5 straight rounds. They were down 4-0. They won 5 straight rounds to win training grounds. They moved on to Exhibit to win that against UIU 5-3. Tonight's been absolutely insane, and it wouldn't surprise me if Quarantine could potentially turn this around. But again, they have to get better on the initials. That last round was flawless. By the time they finished with the domination, Rise Nation was sitting at 0 points. Quarantine was at 80, 90 points themselves. But man, oh man, we're back to square one. Solar's already down, and Ryan, I think we get our answer. That's going to be it. Rise Nation wins this game number 1, 5-2 in grand finals to be up 1-0.